This is the Badlands edition. It says Bronco really big up front. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam, and today we have the brand new Ford Bronco Sport. This is the Badlands edition, and I've said in a previous video, the top 3 most highly anticipated cars of the last 10 years were definitely the Jeep Gladiator, the new mid-engine Corvette, both of which we have reviewed already, and the Ford Bronco. Now this is not the full-size Ford Bronco that everyone is waiting for, but this is the Bronco Sport, the baby Bronco, and we have it in the Badlands edition, which is the best version of this car. I'll tell you why. Let's get in and see what this thing offers. This Bronco Sport was given to me courtesy of Ford Lincoln of Santa Monica, and in a minute I'm going to tell you why they're the best place that you should go if you want a Bronco Sport, especially this one. Although this is not the full-size Ford Bronco that everyone's waiting for, I'm still so excited to drive this one because it's the baby Bronco. It's a preview of what the next one will be. Those are all pre-production cars. They're not giving anybody that car, but I have talked to them. Hopefully I will get one by the end of the year, maybe early next year, give you guys a full review on it. This one, however, still the hype is so through the roof for all the Ford Broncos. We're gonna find out exactly what this thing can do. Because I've been filming mostly at the beach, a lot of people are walking by. It's a nice day, so they're out, and they have stopped, asked me how I like the car. A lot of people just want to know, hey, is it worth the hype? Was it all we expected? That seems to be the big question, and we're gonna find out. Now, every time you start the car up, it plays this little fun video of these rocks collecting together to become the bucking Bronco. And don't mind the red line down the middle, that's the protective film because this is a brand new car. I don't want to have to remove that. Now, speaking of the video that plays, check this out. Of course, down here I have what's called the GOAT modes. That does not stand for greatest of all time. This stands for goes over all terrain. Now in there, if you go through the settings, of course you have your slippery mode and you have normal and sport. When you get to some of the modes like sand or mud and rock climbing, check out the video that plays and it changes the entire dash. I love that touch. They didn't have to do it, but it just adds a little bit more character to this car. And check this out, when you go into your rock climbing mode, look what happens. The camera up front turns on. That is the front camera because it knows I'm gonna go over things. I need to see what's in front of me to not damage the car, to make sure the car can go over that type of terrain. Let me start with the interior. The first thing I noticed when I got in this car is the floorboards. All of it is rubber. It's a soft rubber, and the reason for that is because they know what you're gonna be doing with this car. You're gonna get in dirty or with sand on your shoes, and they want you to be able to literally hose this car out. Obviously, don't get it, this is on the cloth seats, don't go that far up, but if you've done this before, you'll know you can literally spray water on the floor, in the rear on the floor, and you can even see it in the trunk. You can spread water all over, and you can see that the back seats, although they're cloth now, it does come with these rubber attachments that you put on the back seats. That's what's laying in the trunk. That way you can fold the rear seats down all the way, put the rubberized on top of the back of the seats, and now you've just got this giant area behind you where you can almost take a shower. The interior, it's okay, you can't say it's a very exciting interior. There's not that much going on. It's pretty basic, but you have to start touching around and feeling the materials. There's this rubber all over it, so you know it's durable. This isn't a car I'd be cautious with or worried about, you know, getting this dirty, that dirty. The materials are prepared for that. Ford knew who the buyers are of this car. There are little storage pockets all over this car. First of all, when you go into the glove compartment, this might be the deepest glove compartment ever. I can almost fit up to my elbow in there. I've never seen that before. The sides of the center console have a little net that you can drop pretty much anything in. A very cool one is only on the passenger seat in the rear, under it, there is a durable and pretty spacious little compartment. I'm not going to tell you that you should hide drugs in there, but I'm telling you no one will ever look. The interior up front is actually really spacious. I have no complaints here. In the back, I'm a little bit of a taller guy, so I did have some trouble back there. I'm sure children or people who are a little bit shorter than me won't have a tough time. Up front, I do have to emphasize that there is so much more room than I expected for a subcompact car like this. And one thing I forgot to mention when it comes to storage, the coolest one, look at the back of my seat and the passenger seat here. They have a zipper where you can safely store things and not worry when you're rock climbing or in a sand dune that they're gonna come flying out. That is space that should have been utilized so many years ago, and I don't know why we haven't. We just put little flaps in there and nobody really uses it. This is something I'd actually use. Let's talk about the cargo area for a minute. This has probably the coolest feature yet. I don't know what it says about the buyers of the car, but it does have a built-in bottle opener. How cool is that? No, they are not saying that the buyers of these cars are going to be alcoholics. They're saying we know you're going to go outdoors, you're going to do camping, and you're going to forget a few things. Well, you don't need to bring a bottle opener. You also have a button in the cargo area that turns on the lights in the cargo. The car does not have to be on, the key does not have to be in. This turns on totally separately from the rest of the car, which is an awesome feature to have. You also have enough things here to plug in a refrigerator and a generator and pretty much start a new life in the back of this thing. And if you wanted to open just the glass portion, there's a button for that. You press it, only the glass portion opens up. If you want the whole thing open, there's a separate button for that. Very cool. I love that feature. Once you get used to it, this is going to be one of the features you cannot go back on. You're not going to want to buy another off-roading or SUV that you're not going to have this feature with. This has Ford's new gear selector that's going to be pretty much in every Ford. I like it. I mean, it looks clean. It matches the car. It has, you know, the manual is the M down in the middle. Very simple to use. And it's in even the GT500, the new one that was in the showroom, has the same gear selector. It's a cool system. I'm glad Ford really changed it up. In the infotainment, I'm not going to go through everything, but it is extremely responsive. I like it. The cameras are crystal clear. This is really, for this price, this car is a hell of a package. Let's talk about the exterior design for a little bit. As I mentioned, this competes with the Jeep Renegade, which I will say it's a funky, cool looking car, and I think that's the appeal of the Jeep Renegade. That's why people buy it. I don't really think anybody is planning on doing any type of off-roading, definitely nothing serious. This car, however, not only is cool and fun looking, and you know, of course there's a hype about it right now like no other, but it actually is a very capable car. It has all the settings, it has all the important features that you need when going off-road. And although this is a little bit more expensive than the Jeep Renegade, and I'll get into pricing in a minute, one of the reasons is because all Bronco Sports come standard with all-wheel drive. The Renegade does not offer that. Now, design-wise, the car just screams fun. It looks compact and kind of quirky, and it has these cool little features all around it. But when you look at it, the packaging is done so properly. Look at the roofline, for example, how it goes up towards the rear, but it's not a very noticeable kind of ugly thing, and that's because they want to make headroom for the people in the back. And that's one thing I love. There's plenty of headroom in this car, up front too, but especially in the back. Now, one thing I love from a branding perspective is there are almost no Ford logos anywhere. They've chosen to call this thing just the Bronco or the Bronco Sport, and they have the bucking Bronco like I have on the steering wheel. We have it up front. We've got no Ford logos almost anywhere on the car except one spot on the trunk. It's ugly. I don't like it. But I do understand, a lot of people, unless they're super familiar with these types of cars, this is a new car, they're not going to know what it is if it's just, unless they see it up front where it says Bronco really big in the big letters. So I get it, they needed to make sure that somebody driving behind this car will know exactly who makes it. I love that on both the Bronco Sport and the full-size Bronco that will be coming out later this year, it says Bronco really big up front. You can't mistake it. This is going to be awesome seeing it coming in the rear view mirror of your car. And driving it too, my view up front, I've got these two massive bulges on the hood. I mean, the car just tells me it's capable. These are all features of things that make it a little bit more exciting to drive. They're adding character to the car. Let's talk about the Badlands Edition, the version of this car that I think is the ultimate Bronco Sport to get. This has the 2-liter 4-cylinder 250 horsepower engine. That may not sound like a lot, but I promise you the car does not feel underpowered. It's actually surprisingly quick. Some of the models before the Badlands are the ones that have, I believe, 180 horsepower. I would be worried that those might feel underpowered, but again, if you're just using them for city driving, it's not a problem. This is the one you actually might take off-road, therefore it needs a little bit of the extra power, and it does have it. And that 250 horsepower, I'm telling you, it doesn't feel slow. It's a surprisingly fast for that kind of power. There is also a version called the Outer Banks. That one has a little bit more leather, a little bit bigger wheels. I believe they're 18-inch. But if you were to ask me, I would say this is the version to get, and I'll tell you why. The ride feels soft when I'm just driving around the city. I'm not going to go into a sand dune or rock climbing, but I'm certain it's capable because there was so much hype about this car. Ford could not have let us down. They can't screw that up. And the Badlands Edition, which is the one I'm in, has a 1-inch lift for the entire car, and it has stronger shock absorbers. So again, if you're gonna do any kind of, let's call it exciting driving, right, going off of the road, this is the version to get. Now, I have the window sticker of this car here with me, and the total cost of the one I'm in right now was $34,000. And that's with the destination charge delivered. Now, again, that is a little bit more expensive than the Jeep Renegade, but this car offers so much more. As I mentioned, the all-wheel drive comes standard with all of these Bronco Sports. But more importantly, there's so much more character, so many more options, so many more features. I mean, there's just so much to talk about in this car. I don't want to make the video too long, but there is a lot. The more you look around, you catch all these little bucking Bronco icons, the little logos like in the rear window. They're all over the place. Everything you open up, it turns out it's like a storage, or wow, look, the material on this is different. This is, colored differently. You're just picking up little things as I'm driving. Now, I've mentioned the things I love about this car. There's a couple of little things here and there that I'm not crazy about. No car is perfect, but we should mention my conclusion if I think you should get this car. I absolutely do, and I'll tell you the main reason is because this has been a boring segment forever. The Ford Bronco Sport really threw in capability. That was something that was not really included in this segment. These were city cars. These were cars for people who like to say, I'm driving an SUV, or like to say, yeah, I like off-roading, but they'll never see a day of off-roading. So the cars were just never meant for that. This car really, you can do a little bit of everything with it, and I love that. This version especially, like I said, doesn't feel underpowered. It has plenty of power. It's a great all-around car. When I picked this car up in Santa Monica by Ford Lincoln of Santa Monica, the car only had 7 or 8 miles on it. They just got these, and they got a lot of them. They have all the packages you want. They're gonna help you get the version of this car that you want, because there are so many options and so many types of the Bronco Sport to get. This is my favorite, but for any Bronco Sport that you want, contact them. I know some of the deals that they are offering. They have a $500 rebate on this car, and they're offering 0% financing for up to 48 months. And if you wanted to go up to 60 months, they would do 0.9% financing. It's an amazing deal for an awesome car that people are dying to get. I've been driving this car pretty much all day, and if I don't have a major complaint about it by now, I mean, that says a lot, because This is especially because it's not my type of car. You know, I'm a sports car guy and I do enjoy these giant luxury cars. This is so far out of like my realm of cars that I would buy, but yet I really liked it. I truly did. I think Ford nailed it with the Bronco Sport. I'm crazily excited to try out the actual full-size Bronco when it does come out, but to get the little preview and the little test with the baby Bronco, it's a cool little car. I'm telling you, you'll like it. Call Ford of Santa Monica, tell them you want to come in and check out the car, and believe me, look at all the little things that are here and there. You're gonna love it. They're gonna hook you up with a great deal on this car. And with all that said, that wraps up yet another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I need that subscriber base. That's how I go to companies like Ford and ask them to let me borrow this car for the day, for a couple days, to really experience it and give you my feedback. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, like, comment the video, and thank you once again to Ford Lincoln of Santa Monica. Make sure to hit them up. Go check out this car. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next car.